There we go. Welcome, everybody. This is the pre-show. Don't get too hung up on it. There you go. Well, welcome aboard. As you come through here, I just got to get everything set up. Look at that. Perfect. All right. Welcome aboard. I just came on a little early. Want to talk about a little bit about Neil Diamond in the pre-show. What's your favorite Neil Diamond song? What is your favorite Neil Diamond song? That's what I'd like to know. Put that in the comments as we go through here. And I'll make sure everything's... There we go. Looks like everything is up and running. Perfect. I will try to keep up with the comments tonight. And let's put that out there. Let's just share that. Oops. Make sure you share out the broadcast tonight. Coming on board. Let's see. Let's share this. There we go. Well, welcome aboard tonight. As you come on board, I'm on a little bit early here, but I just want to talk about Neil Diamond. What's your favorite Neil Diamond song? What are we going on with that tonight, huh? Think of many ones from my youth. There's Sweet Caroline that everybody sings as they're drunk in a bar. Wah, wah, wah. Yeah. Had played that many times way back in the day. Song Sung Blue. Yeah, that was a good one. Good choice there. Song Sung Blue. He was a good baritone. He had that little song sung blue, everybody knows one. There you go. So what are your favorite Neil Diamond songs as we're getting everything prepped for the intro? Coming up to the show. Get your beverage of choice. Salud. Still got about a little under 5 minutes left in the pre-show. But Neil Diamond announced Parkinson's disease. Sad, sad, sad on that. Where I look at that from the perspective of what kind of a legacy has he's already given us so much music-wise and acting, and he has built his legacy up. So what's your legacy? You know? He can easily, as soon as he got the diagnosis, got the news, he's just like, I'm done. He's done with performing. He's done with concerts. He's going to be on his way to just enjoying his life as this kind of progresses. And yeah, it's a little bit of an ego thing, but you know, it's twofold. You know, he wants to do, I'm sure he wants to still perform as much as he can because he enjoys it. It's also a way of making a living. He, you know, he gets paid for that, obviously. Hi, Butto. Welcome aboard. But, got about 3.5 minutes left. Butto, you must have a favorite Neil Diamond song. What is that? Tell me in the comments section there. I want to say way back in when we were little lads playing in your basement, I swear we jammed to a couple of those. Maybe you need to release more of a metal version of some of those songs, huh? But yeah, what's your favorite Neil Diamond song? He's talking. He's got Parkinson's disease. He's retiring. He's done. He canceled tours. He still had tours coming up in this spring and summer. Australia and that just flat out canceled him. He already built his legacy. What's your legacy going to be? That's what we're going to talk about tonight on tonight's show. Can I say tonight more times in a row? But we're going to talk about building your legacy, and different aspects to that in about 2.5 minutes when that comes up. We're going to talk about, what is going to motivate you, what's going to inspire you to take that, launch that set. Butto, I know hi Ember. Butto, I know you're building your legacy. You're rebuilding the legacy. You had that going, and it's still in your heart. You're still building that legacy up, and I thank you for that. Yep. the Fred Rogers of music. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. And I was going down through his songbook. There were, he sold tons of 100, I think I saw this morning, 130 million albums he's sold and that. But as I was scrolling down some of those way back in like 1969 and that, looking at the albums themselves, I mean, he had a lot of hits, and I'm not going to take that away from him, but he had a lot of things that were on those albums that I would probably call filler songs. So yeah. Hi Danny, how are you doing? Yeah. Yep, exactly. Don't call it a comeback. That's been yearning inside of you, Butto, for many, many a year. That's not a comeback. That's just a continuation. Yeah. So it's just a matter of reminding those other people to come on board with you. But thanks for coming on board tonight, too. Great segue there, wasn't it? That was kind of smooth. Not really. But thanks for coming on board. I am great, Danny. I am great. I hope to see you this weekend. I heard there was rumors of you coming out to our humble abode. So thanks for coming on board. Hopefully you can make it this weekend. Just firm that up and let us know. But yeah. Well, we're sorry to see Neil Diamond retiring. If you didn't get a chance to see, it just ups the ticket sales for everybody else along the way. So maybe that will inspire people to pay big bucks to see you, Butto. There you go. Get out there on the concert tour. All right, we're about to start the show, so I welcome you aboard, and thanks for coming on the pre-show. Welcome, everybody. I am Dave Stelma. And you found me. Thanks for finding me. Tonight, we're going to talk about your legacy. What does it take? What is your wall? What does it take to motivate you, inspire you to start working on your legacy and taking action? And how are we going to measure all those results? Right after the intro. What does it take for you to start building your legacy? I know we have Butto that's on there. He's restarting. I mean, there's things we do along the way. We get by in life. But what does it take? Everybody has these great stories, and sometimes it's that they had a heart attack and then they had their awakening. That's why I put that picture up there. Does it have to be something so tragic that wakes you up? Because all that is your higher power, your spirit, your angels, whatever. They're shaking you. They're waking you up saying, here, you know what? I'm going to give you a heart attack. Now go get healthy. Or is it that you run out of money and it's like, we're going to put you into bankruptcy. Now go do what you're supposed to be doing because you're not serving the people. You're not getting your voice out there. You're not representing your legacy. What is there's always early warning signs. With health, it's a real easy one. I'm going to show you, I'm going to go through the whole tonight's show, and I'm going to give examples of health, because that's a real easy one. And this is the time of year we all go, oh my gosh, we gained that 30 pounds. I'm working on getting rid of the 30 pounds that I put on over the last few years. You know, it's like we gained that 30 pounds or the 10 pounds or what, you know, what is your limit? Some people, I know I have a few friends that it's going to be 60 pounds. It's going to be, you know, they're all of a sudden they just keep putting the weight on, and weight's an easy factor, but you can utilize anything in there. What is going to be your turning point? If it's money, maybe it's that you're just, you know, you're not supposed to be in that job that you're in. And so start looking and leaving before you get forced out the door. You know, it's so obvious in people that work in like radio stations and that. All of a sudden they come in one day and they go, you know what, we're shutting down the radio station. We're going to go from an all talk, you know, radio to we're going to put on gospel 24/7, you know, and you're all out of a job, you know. And it's like you don't have to wait until you get fired to go and find that job, because you're miserable. You're walking around, you're miserable in that job. It doesn't pay you enough. You know you deserve more for what you give to them. It also can be with your weight or your health. I don't like to look at weight as, and we're going to get into that further into the show of how you measure that. But how is your health doing? This is the health time of year. We make those resolutions. We're going to get out there. Probably another 20 days or so before all of a sudden you'll see no one showing up at the gym again. We hit the gym in January, we're going to do it, we're going to lose all that weight, and then we slowly start, you know, taking the day or hitting happy hour, or take that day off from working out. You get bored with it, things of that sort. You come up with 1,000 excuses, but there's only one major excuse for doing it and sticking to it. So whatever that is, what is your wall? Sit down and figure that out. You don't have to wait until something tragically happens to you to build that legacy, to put that album out, to, you know, don't worry about the how, because the how is going to find its way. Get that passion, and when that passion's there, and I wrote about this in my email, and if you get those daily emails, you know what I'm talking about. And if you didn't, sign up. Sign up for those daily emails and get those. They're just little quick spurts of inspiration, just things to make you think and hopefully drive you in the right direction, keep your journey on track. And when, like the how, if Butto would have just went, you know, we don't have the money to start recording. We don't have the means to do that. I got all these songs that are inside of me, and the band is all here and they're raring to go. But, you know, let's just hang out in the garage and we'll just keep jamming away, and we'll never put anything down in recording. You didn't wait for that. You just went out there and you started the process, and you said, you know what, we're going to let, you know, if we run out of money, then we run out of money, and that's the end point. But we're not going to worry about that. We're going to just keep going and pushing on, and hopefully it's all going to come through. And I'm sure it is. I'm sure it has been. And the same with if you're trying to lose some weight, if you're trying to get in shape, if you're trying to, you know, whatever that thing is, don't wait till you hit that tragic wall. We don't need to all of a sudden go to a doctor's appointment and have them say you have cancer before we go, you know what, I got to eat better. I got to get myself healthy. I got to work out. I'm going to enjoy life. You know, I'm going to take that vacation. I'm going to do, those are all things that you need to do to be healthy, right? And I'm going to go more into detail. But there have been many lows and changes. Yeah, there always is. You got to hit those lows, right? That can be what your trigger point is. It's all about what's going to trigger that inside you, and every person is different. That's the key. Every person is different. We all know people. We probably all, you know, whether it's relatives or whatever, the nice big jolly guy, and you're going, you know, if he would have just lost 50 pounds, and then they go to the doctor and the doctor says, hey, you know, you need to lose 50 pounds. And it's like, they know they need to lose 50 pounds. They know that they probably shouldn't have gained that 50 pounds, but at somewhere along the way, they just got complacent. They just got okay with it. And they just kept not hitting that point. So your point could be, if you go with someone that is in body sculpting or something of that sort, theirs is going to be probably that fat percentage, and they're going to be probably worried when they get, all of a sudden they can't see their six-pack anymore or something of that sort. That's going to be their breaking point, their trigger point. Now with someone else, it could be that 60-pound, you know, weight gain. And I know I'm picking on weight gain, but that's this time of year, so don't lose me on that. Interject whatever. Think about it, and I want you to make a list. Think about what your trigger point is going to be. You know, of what that is. Is it that you have all these artistic, creative songs, art? Whatever it is that something that's resonating inside you and you're just not letting that escape? Because if you bottle that all inside, what does that create? That creates frustration, negativity. Why didn't I do it? Regret. Did you hear that word? Regret. You don't want to all of a sudden hit 60 years old, 65 years old. And as we get older, yeah, things are going to wear out. We got to modify. We got to change what we do for activity. Things get worn out as time goes on. And you either have to replace them. Hi, Gloria. You either have to replace those joints and things like that, or we're going to just take care of ourselves and modify what we do for activity. Yeah, I mean, you can go from running a marathon to just walking around the block when it's nice out, you know. You're going to modify that, but you're still going to do some form of activity. But what is your trigger point? That's what I want to hit hard in this point, in this first segment. What's going to trigger you to start making that change and really sticking to it? Okay, so think about that over the next few days. Think of what your trigger is, and it's on all different levels. It's not I'm picking on weight gain because that's this time of year, or weight getting physically healthy, things of that sort, because that's what we plague on this time of year. But it can be, you know, financial, it can be physical like that, it can be spiritually, you know, and they're all intertwined. Those three are all intertwined together, but it's just whichever one. And I go into that in another night, where what is the one that resonates with you and what is your base point of which one of those that you choose. But find out and really do some evaluation, whether you're meditating on this, you know, what is my trigger point? What is it, you know, and you have to have all those things. But I know you're going to plague on probably be physically, you know, healthy, because you have to use your vocal cords. That's all physical. That's all physical. There's some mental within there. You got to remember some words in that, but you're going to be all physical is what you're going to be dealing with. And creativity is a physical activity because we're physically doing something. We're physically making something. And it starts inside of us, in our hearts, and then it works its way out. But that's going to be hi, Kyle. That's going to be your main focus on that. But figure out, think to yourself, make a list. What's your trigger? What's your trigger point? You know, we don't have to go to the extreme of disease and you know, we don't have to go to the extreme. Let's just say it that way. We don't have to go to the extreme of hitting a wall with disease or something of that sort before we make that change, before we find our trigger, and before we make the change and start building our legacy. And that brings us to action, because that's what you want to do. Once you figure that out, that trigger point, your trigger point, is going to make you passionate It's going to give you enthusiasm, all of these, and inspiration to take the actions that are going to make the results. And like I said, I'm plaguing on weight loss this week, but what is it going to be? Once you find your trigger point, now we're going to strike some passion. We're going to get some inspiration. We're going to start researching. We're going to find the ways that we can attain the results that we need. And the next segment is going to be all about measurement and how we're going to measure those things. But what actions are you going to take? I'm going to work on weight loss. Am I going to change my diet? And by change, I like to term it that way, change my diet, because diet isn't going to be, we're not going to look at something that we're going to do for 3 weeks and lose 50 pounds. That's not what we're going to do. We're going to look for a lifestyle change. And we get into patterns. And if you change patterns, it does a couple of different things. It starts changing. Oh, Danny says, I have a genetic and hereditary bad back. My trigger is the person I'm living with, so I have identified that and will be taking my children and moving on. There you go. And kudos to you. You realized it and you came in, you made the change. You're making that change right now. I get it. Yeah. More exercise, gathering, yep, in more core. Hi, Alice. Thanks for coming on board. Yeah. Danny, good luck, and keep it going. We're going to talk this weekend. Yeah. But yeah, making those changes. The triggers are there. Once you realize what triggers you, now we're going to take action. Action is what's really going to get you results. And so with this, we're going to change our diet, because everything that you've done before isn't working. So in my case, yeah, I've done a lot of sweets. I've done a lot of those things. I've gone over to that, eating a lot of sweets and all that. And so we got to start making changes. So that's going to be one of the things. We're going to do the best that we can in changing that habit. We're going to change that diet-wise. We're going to make some changes for the better. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to go to a whole extreme. And like I said, we're not looking to do something for 3 weeks. We're looking to do something for long term. And at some point, your body, with doing a new diet, nutritional diet, doing a new diet, at some point, years down the line, you're probably going to have to change things up again, because your body becomes acclimated to that. Your sugar levels become acclimated to that, and you can't keep doing the same thing, because then your body is going to start relying on it. It relaxes back. It doesn't produce certain hormones. It doesn't do certain things, and so you have to change it up again. So what we want to do is we want to know that, and know that we're not going to do this for the rest of our lives. We're not going to have the paleo diet for the rest of our lives, or whichever one you're going to choose. Keto diet, whatever it is. We're not going to do that for the rest of our lives. We're going to do it for a few years, maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years. And then all of a sudden our body's going to start changing again. Because as we grow older, different hormones happen, things of that happen in both women and men. And so you have to reacclimate or change it up, switch it up. It'd be the same thing as if you were doing any kind of workout. If you do the same workout at the same time of the day and you do nothing but that, like I love to run, but if I just do nothing but run, my body all of a sudden starts getting acclimated to just running. So certain muscles are developed and other certain muscles are weakened. And joint areas may be weakened. So they're going to strengthen at first. When you start doing something new, all of a sudden you see different, parts of your body change and strengthen in that. And then after a while, if you do the same routine and repetitiveness, that's gonna all be kind of thrown out the door. You're gonna see that maybe you're not gonna have the body definition that's why we change it up. We use muscle memory and we change the routine up consistently. It's the same thing that you're going to see that in P90X, all these different workouts, body sculptors, all that will do that same thing. Now, we're not going to go to that extreme though, right? We just want to get better and healthier. And that's really the key, is what are you going to use then to measure that? So a couple of things we're going to do. Let's talk about diet. Diet, we're going to change diet. Whatever that is for you, you got to find that out. Because is it something, and you see this, you get advice from all different angles, right? There's people that'll say, oh, you got to look at what your acid and your alkaline, you know, what are you putting in your body? What's that? And you may test that and go, well, that seems to be all fine. Well, now what are we going to do? Now we're going to go on, you know, we're going to try a keto diet or something of that sort. You got to find what works for you, because what works for you isn't necessarily going to work for me, and vice versa. Men versus women. People that are more prone in their family towards heart disease are probably going to do a little bit different diet than someone that is more prone towards really healthy. You know, they have no issues with high blood pressure. They have no issues with, you know, all their tests come out clean, but maybe they're just more overweight and it's somewhat a more hormonal thing. Well, now by diet alone, you can start changing hormone levels. Women will find this a lot when they go into premenopause, perimenopause, and then into menopause. They'll see that their hormone levels are going to be, you know, they can go up and down all the time. And by diet alone, you can level those out a little bit more. But as it progresses, you have to change that diet too, and you have to be aware of those things, right? Men, it's the same way. Hi, Courtney. Welcome aboard. So taking action, though, is the biggest thing. Now if we know what our triggers are, then we can start formulating a plan of how we're gonna take action on that. And this is all in the big picture. We're thinking, what are we gonna give to our heirs? Our legacy. What are we building for a legacy? Physically, financially, spiritually? What are we going to be giving and leaving for them when we're gone? That's what the big picture is, okay? So right now we're going to hone down on just what triggers us. Think of what triggers you throughout the week, and then we're going to formulate the action plan, right? What can we do to take action to now change it and get our goal? And so that's what the next thing we're going to talk about is measuring those results. Got the trigger. We know what our triggers are. We know what actions we're going to take, but how are we going to measure that? You think we're going to stand on a scale, right? Different places. If you go to a Weight Watchers, I think they have you stand on a scale. You use your weight is what the measurement is. Other places or other workout routines are going to say, we're going to measure you, right? We're going to measure your waist. We're going to measure your arms. We're going to measure, you know, we're going to get out a tape measure. We're going to measure you that way. We're not going to look at a scale. My personal thing for healthiness is I have a fat scale. So I look at what my fat percentage is. What is that, you know? And so I look more of that aspect because I just get more thick around the middle. And so that's what I strive to lose. And beyond that, it's like I just kind of get it all over, right? So most people go, oh, you don't even look like you're that heavy. But it's just that it kind of forms it all over a little bit. And that's just me. So what your journey is going to be different. So you got to figure out what that is and how you're going to utilize to measure your results. And it could be something as that you go to the doctor and you look at blood pressure. You look at all those different, you know, blood tests, blood sugar levels. If you're pre-diabetic or you're type 2 diabetic, you might look at what your blood sugar levels are. You're going to monitor those and trying to eat right to keep those down. Now, also activity is involved there because the more active you are, the more things you can eat, and it's full blown that way. And what we're striving to do is we're building habits. We're replacing bad habits with good habits, right? Eating. So the diet, taking the action of the diet, how we eat, when we eat, things of that sort are going to be part of that. And so we're going to track that. Now, you got to track those, whether it's on a daily basis. If we're going to look at diet, you're probably going to have to track it on a daily basis first. The people that write it down, this is why Weight Watchers always wants you to keep a log, right? They try to make it as easy as possible. They put it on your smartphone app. You can write it down on sheets. They give you sheets that you can do that with. They want you to write it down because, yeah, decision, action, and progression. Exactly, Butto. Exactly. But measuring your results, they want you to write it down because you have a 80% higher chance of attaining that goal if you keep track of it. If you're constantly keeping track of it and writing it down, you have an 80% higher chance of it succeeding versus not succeeding or quitting that, going a couple of weeks in. If you go to a Weight Watchers meeting, right now, you're probably still got a full room. By the end of February, you have a half a room full. By end of March, you probably get the first 2 rows that show up at any one given meeting. And so that's just the fact of this year, this time of year, is that people get motivated. They're making that decision. But if you write it down, you have an 80% higher chance of succeeding in that goal. So you want to write those down. What is your goal, and how are you going to measure that? So if you're going by, we'll say fat percentage. So my fat percentage right now is 25%. So if I go by my fat percentage, I may set a goal of on February 28th, 2018 at 5 p.m., I will have my fat percentage at 17%. So I think that's attainable. So I would write that down. So now that's measurable. So if anybody came in, if Ember came in and said, okay, let's get on the fat scale. I want you to get on the scale and let's see what your percentage is. And if it shows that I'm 17% fat percentage on February 28th at 5 p.m., that's a measurable goal. And so that's how you want to get into the habit of doing it. Now, the best way to do this is to start out with a small goal, because most of us are trained through elementary school, through middle school, or whatever, intermediate school, whatever you call it now, high school, through all of our schooling. We have teachers that tell us what to do, when to do it, and how they're going to measure it. When it comes to us doing it, now we have to go, how do I do this? You have to have a measurable goal. So when we set that up, that's how we want to do it. We want to give an exact time in that. And so we want to go with a small goal to begin with, because we want to reprogram our brain that we can set it up and we can succeed. Because once you start emitting those endorphins from attaining that goal, you're going to be fired up. You're going to be like having a party starting inside, you're going to be like ecstatic because you hit that goal. So start out with a small goal. Don't go for this big, huge goal to begin with if this is new to you. If this is not new to you, now you know the feeling. You know how it is to set up a goal and to attain it. Butto knows that it's like we're going to put a date on it. We're going to have our album done by this date, whatever that is. Butto, put that in the comments. Tell us what date that is. By this date, we're going to have this produced. It's going to be out there. We're going to be able to launch it. We're going to have a launch party set, and they probably have that date. They have the place and everything for the launch party all set, whether it, and then they're going to start hammering it out there. We're going to start doing interviews. We're going to start pounding it out there to the people. So they know they have to set those dates. And there's nothing worse than setting a date back. So along the way, we're going to start out. If you're new to goals and setting the time and succeeding in those goals, you want to set a goal that you're going to succeed in, but it's going to challenge you a little bit. So if you want to go by pounds, Kyle's on here tonight, and he set a goal for losing weight. And he's been working at it, right? And so Kyle, I know you probably set a weight goal. You're probably like, I want to get lose X amount of pounds by such and such a date. And you set your goal to do that, and you did whatever it took. So if all of a sudden you wanted to eat that ice cream or whatever your food of choice is, your weakness of choice is, you probably then you thought of that and you're like, oh no, I got 4 more days and I'm only 2 pounds away from hitting my goal on that day. And so it's like you self-impose these limits on yourself, and it's great because that's what it takes to do that. But once you succeed in one of those smaller goals along the way, those steps up the ladder of success, once you hit those smaller goals, it just fires you up to keep going to the next one and the next one and bigger, and your goals get bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's awesome. That's where all of a sudden the magic happens, and your legacy just starts growing. What you're leaving to your heirs, to your family, to your friends, whatever it is, to the world. To the world. I mean, Butto is going to be leaving music. He's left some music already, but he's going to be leaving a legacy of music that's going to live on beyond him. And that's just a miracle. That's just a phenomenal thing to think of, that you're going to have something that's going to live beyond you. You know it is. It's going to be out there for hundreds and hundreds of years. And people can find it and all of a sudden pull that out and start listening to that, like to your music. But the same thing can happen. That's on a big scale, but the same thing can happen for anyone on any scale of what they're doing. Everything you do, whether it's the job you take, whether it's the precedent that you set, whatever it is, that's your legacy. And if you don't have a goal for what that is, then let's talk. Get on my calendar. You can go to Dave Stelma on Facebook. You can find me that way. Butto says, I struck a chord with them. Yeah, the release date, it was June 22nd, 2018, 7 months ago. But we needed to adjust to allow for life's, life happens. And now it's September 22nd. But there you go. We're going to get, and you're going to hit that. You're going to hit that. You might even come in early, and that's great. That gives you a little bit more waves to do it with, Sometimes life hits us. But that's when we dig in deep and we make things happen. And we don't worry about the how, because the how is going to show up. As long as you're passionate about what it is, what your trigger point is, as long as that strikes the passion inside you, you'll make it. The how will happen. You just keep taking action one step at a time, and you keep throwing out those goals and those measurable results, and you'll hit it. You'll hit it. We're there for you, Butto. How did a half hour already go by? What's going on here? Well, hopefully this helped for you. This gave you some kind of inspiration, some help along the way. Triggered your trigger points. But yeah, figure out what your trigger is. Hit it earlier than waiting. Don't wait until the doctor gives you that prognosis, right? Let's just take some steps now and get that trigger. Take the actions towards whatever it is, and set some goals, attain those goals, make more goals, get them bigger, and let's get your legacy going. All right? Till next week, I am Dave Stelma. You can find me here every Tuesday at 6:30. Till next week, be well, give lots of hugs, and love till you can't love no more. Bye-bye.
If you like this video, like my Facebook page or subscribe to my YouTube channel, or find everything at davestelma.com.